welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, for another action-packed video to come, because we're going to be talking all about Barca's game against AC Milan last night and what we've learned indeed from that performance, but we're also going to have a really important update too on one of our crucial financial levers. Lots of rumours on that today that I think we do need to clear up, and of course we're going to have the very latest again on Ousmane Dembélé, with more honest thoughts both from me and also from Xavi too, who gave some brutally honest feelings after the game last night on Dembele's exit. We're going to be discussing it all and going over it all here, so thank you guys for joining me and let's do it. But if we do indeed kick off with that final game of the USA tour that took place last night as Barca played AC Milan in Las Vegas, and it was another promising display from us, I've got to say. It may have only been 1-0, but I thought Barca again, as we discussed earlier today over on MORETALKFCB, there was a few star performers, some really good showings again, and good messages sent out ahead of the season. But I do want to really go into a bit more detail here about our attacking play, because again there has been some concern over Robert Lewandowski. Plenty of Barca fans right now are getting a bit nervous over not necessarily the lack of goals from him in the last 2 games or so, but mainly it's about the performances. And I don't only feel here this is about pre-season, because I think it would be really harsh here to judge anybody too heavily in a couple of friendly games, but I think this is more about the hangover from last season, the second half of last season, post-World Cup for Lewandowski, and whether or not he can fully recapture the kind of level that he showed when he arrived, when he was absolutely on fire in all aspects of his game. But I would just like to approach this a little bit differently right now, because I would like to actually point out here, we have played 3 pre-season games over the past few days, and Barca have had 6 different scorers in those 3 games. We had Lewandowski himself, we've had Rafinha, Ferran has scored twice, Ousmane Dembélé of course, Fermin Lopez, and now Ansu Fati with a winning goal last night. And I've got to be honest with you guys, 6 different scorers is not a bad thing. I would actually much rather that than, say, Lewandowski scoring 5 out of the 6 goals. Lewandowski scoring all of the goals just by himself, because that was our problem last season, don't forget. Because Lewandowski was our main and only source of goals, really, which meant that if you were able to shut him out of a game, or if he couldn't play, or if he wasn't feeling 100% fit, the whole team was going to suffer. It is much more difficult there to keep several threats quiet, to actually keep a number of attacking players off the score sheet, than it is to just mark one man out the game. So yes, I think Lewandowski does need to do more. I hope that as the new season arrives that he can find more sharpness about his game and that he can be the player that we know that he is, that we know that he can be. But I also hope we still see this from everybody else. I want to see others contributing too. I want to see other players here taking ownership and responsibility in front of goal. We've got to help Lewandowski out. We have to make sure here that we have several goal threats, and I think pre-season has been very, very positive on the attacking front. But if we do indeed move on now to what is a very important topic, guys, because Barca have a financial lever that's been in the background now for a few weeks, because there's been a German fund there that has been in talks there about acquiring a 16% stake in Barca Studios there. The German fund was supposed to take over that sort of lever there that would see an injection of cash at Barca for 65 million euros. But there was a big report earlier on today from eSport 3 that apparently that German fund has backed out of the deal, that they are not indeed going to proceed with that, and Barca may be left in the lurch. And don't forget here, this particular deal for Barca Studios, that was all part of the viability plan that's been given to La Liga, that's been approved here. Barca are banking on this money, and if that deal didn't go through, we may be in trouble registering certain players. But what I want to make very, very clear on this is, yes, that was a rumour, but according to Barca, who have released information here through Mundo Deportivo, they deny that report. Barca right now, within the club, are still standing firm that the deal is on track, that the deal with this German fund for the 65 million euro injection, that it is going to happen, that everything is going to plan and things are moving along well. So there is a bit of concern, there's always going to be uneasiness here, especially when we're relying on this money, we're banking on these kinds of deals to happen. But as of right now, despite the rumours, Barca maintain, it will happen. But indeed, guys, if we do indeed talk again about the Ousmane Dembélé topic, that is something here that continues to dominate the media in Barcelona. And even last night's game, Dembélé didn't play. Of course, Barca apparently concerned that if he got injured, that would ruin the deal. For example, they want to get some money in at least for him. So he didn't play last night there. He was only with the team. But there is every suggestion right now that in terms of that deal to take him to Paris Saint-Germain, that private clause that's been activated, it does seem as though it's very similar to his original clause there. And that would mean that Barca are only likely to receive 25 million, 27 million, around that ballpark for Dembélé this summer. So it's going to be not an ideal deal for the club for sure. What is interesting though about that is that in the media now though, we're also hearing Barca don't fully agree with that. Barca do not fully believe here that Dembélé has the right to claim 25 million of that deal. And I've got to admit, guys, I was kind of expecting something like this to come up, legal things in the background here. Barca believe that because he did not achieve certain goals at the club, he is not entitled to take 50% of that fee. So that is what is being claimed in the media right now. And apparently Barca would be willing to go down the legal route if needed to claim back some of that money. So believe me, we haven't heard the last of this. Dembélé may feel as though he can take 50%, that he can take 25 million. PSG may be waiting on the sort of payment structure to make with this deal, but we have not heard the last of how this is going to be separated and who is going to get what in this deal yet. But Xavi did indeed speak officially about Dembélé after the game last night. And I've got to admit, from Xavi, it was very honest, very open from him, raw emotion. And I honestly feel like when you listen to these words, he's pretty much done with protecting Dembélé. I don't think anymore now he's going to have his arm round him, trying to protect him from the media. He's being honest about what's happening. Frustration there for sure, because Xavi said Dembélé did come to me and he told me that he wanted to leave. He said, honestly, it's a shame. And yes, I can't deny I'm disappointed. He said we had taken great care of him to ensure that he was happy here. But he said he's got a proposal from PSG. We can't do anything about that. He said we cannot compete with the offer that PSG have made to Dembélé. And Xavi actually went on there and he said, honestly, I tried to convince Dembélé to stay. And he said, I even asked him for the real reason behind his choice to join PSG, because he was happy here. But Xavi said he still didn't answer me in a clear way. I didn't really get a full answer from Dembélé. I suspect it's a personal reason. And I think Xavi there certainly struggling to understand Dembélé's reasoning, especially given everything he's told the media, the way that he's acted during his time under Xavi. And have been some suggestions in the media maybe that his agent had a really big influence on this. The Moussa Sissoko there was the driving force behind Dembélé leaving. We heard the same sort of things in 2022. But look, guys, let me just be clear here. I don't think Dembélé can hide behind his agent any longer. We know he's got an agent there who really is not fun to work with. I will not be sad to see the back of Moussa Sissoko at all, but Dembele's a 26-year-old player here who's been in the game now for many, many years. He understands how the game works. He understands by now surely what he wants. And don't forget, this is somebody here who's hoping to take a huge cut of his transfer fee, to take many, many millions here away from the club. And then he's going to go to Paris and sign a 5-year deal worth 20 million per year in salary. And I think at this stage, guys, we're starting to understand what the motives are here. I think we can kind of understand why Dembélé is so eager to join PSG. But here's the thing, guys, because I don't really care right now about Dembélé. I'm kind of done with that. I said yesterday, let's move on from it. Let's try and focus on the players who are committed here. But what I want now is actually Xavi to learn from this situation. Because I said yesterday on Twitter there that Xavi is still relatively very young in the coaching game. He's still learning. He's still gaining experience. And I hope that he learns from this Dembélé situation. And many people wondered, what did I mean by that? What can Xavi do to learn from this? But I just think right now, Xavi admitted yesterday he knew about the many, many clauses that were included in Dembele's deal, in his contract there. And now if you knew that, if you were aware of it, everybody at the club was, then surely you must have known there was a real chance of Dembele leaving. You must have been aware that actually he's not that committed here. He is looking maybe for one little sign of a way out and he'll go and get the money. I think that was very, very clear from those clauses. And I just think with that in mind here, Xavi, there was some naivety there, because I think he was so dependent on Dembele. He put so so much time, so much effort, so much faith in him. And don't forget, guys, that Xavi even went against Barça fans. Remember, when a lot of people were against Dembele whistling inside the stadium, Xavi was happy to go against his own fans to protect Dembele. And what's he got in return here? What has Dembele given him in return? Now he's leaving at the first chance of asking. And I just think here Xavi has to get it in his mind now. There can't be any favourites. You cannot do that as a coach here. No player owes us anything. We know that football is a business and players will do as they need to do. But that's also the approach that we have to have. Xavi here has to pick his team, pick his squad, give every player the opportunity to grow and shine and improve. And don't just spend all your time, all your energy there just on one, especially when that particular player never really seemed to be all that committed to this club. So those there, guys, once again, are some thoughts on this Ousmane Dembele saga. Please do let me know your own take on that. What do you make there of the way that Xavi has spoken about Dembele's exit? What has gone on here over the past few days? And also let me know your thoughts on the Barça versus Milan performance. Who stood out to you? Who impressed again? And what signs are you looking forward to taking with us now into that new season? Let me know your feelings and your thoughts in the comments down below. I will see you soon, where there will be lots more coming up. We can count on that. But until next time, guys, as always, Visca El Barça.